Hey everybody, Ryan from Smoking Guns here, and today we're going to be taking a look at the Century C39V2 AK pistol. Chambered in 7.62 by 39mm, of course, and right here it is. So this C39 has the Magpul 4N, a milled receiver, a nitrided barrel with an AR style flash hider, and a notch in the safety to hold the bolt to the rear. Which is a nice feature to have on an AK. Some other cool things about this gun is it does have an enhanced mag well and an extended and much wider magazine release. So if you ever tried to put a magazine in an older Wazzer 10 or a cheaper AK, it can be a battle to get magazines in and out of the gun. So Century made it a little bit larger, a little more streamlined. Makes getting those 30-round magazines in there much easier. Now, Century does make a variant of this pistol that has the stabilizing brace on it already. Mine did not come with the stabilizing brace, so I had to put this one on here. It's from SB Tactical, and it's supposed to fit all AK pattern rifles. Well, there's too many variations of the AK for it to fit all. So we'll say that it fits most, and one that it doesn't fit is the C39V2 pistol. And what ends up happening is you put this stabilizing brace on there and you put the bolt through the grip and it doesn't thread. So what I had to end up doing was actually shaving off a portion of the top of the grip in order to get the bolt to be able to thread into the receiver and hold the pistol grip in place. But that's not too big of a deal, and if Century's already done it for you, well, it's probably only a couple of bucks more. Just get the one with the stabilizing brace on it already. So, but this is a great gun, 100% American made. Mine does have the Red Army standard mount, and that's one of the things that you don't see too often on AK pistols, is actually having the side mount for optics. I'm using a SIG Romeo 5 red dot on top. And one of the things about this side mount is Century says that this side mount does allow a return to zero functionality. I haven't actually tested that, so I can't tell you with any certainty that it actually does return to zero. That's something that we may test when we shoot it later. We'll pop it off there, pop it back on, see if it does in fact retain zero, because I'm very curious to know. If it does, that's fantastic, because you don't see that a whole lot with AK pattern rifles or AK pattern pistols for that matter. This is not a rifle. But getting back to the arm brace, if you did not know, it was last year that the ATF came out and said that you are indeed allowed to shoulder an arm brace as long as it is not modified, meaning that you haven't extended it out for the sole purpose of using it as a buttstock, you don't remove the Velcro strap. Other than that, yes, you are allowed to shoulder this, and that's what we're going to do with it when we shoot it later. And a couple other key points about this pistol is it does have some quick detach for sling mounts. So you do have a quick detach on both sides of the receiver on the rear, here and here, as well as just below the front side post on both sides. You also have a quick detach for a sling, and nope, that's not one there. But pretty much everything you need in a nice compact package. And one thing I really like about the milled receiver guns is shooting them, they don't have a lot of recoil. So to me, the recoil of this pistol feels a lot more like shooting an AR-15 than shooting an AK. Whereas with your stamped receiver AKs, they tend to have a lot of recoil compared to an AR-15. Not saying that it's an exorbitant amount or that it's uncontrollable, it's certainly not, but it is noticeably more recoil than an AR-15, and this gun doesn't have that. A really, really great move with the milled receiver and being able to tone that down. So there you go, guys. There's an overview of the C39V2, and here shortly we're going to take it out, we'll shoot it, we'll take the mount off for the optic and put it back on there and see if it retains zero, and maybe we'll try to stretch it out to 100 yards, we'll see, and see what kind of grouping we get there, shooting just steel case 7.62x39 Wolf or Tula, something like that, and let's go have some fun with it. Hey guys, Ryan Smoking Guns, and earlier in the video we talked about some of the key features and aspects of the C39V2, and we're going to throw a couple of rounds down range at a distance about 30 yards. Yeah, it's not too long, but the weather's kind of crappy today, so some of the bigger ideas that we had we're going to have to shelf for another time, but not a big deal. Century is a pretty controversial company when it comes to AKs. Some of you guys love them. There's a lot of hate for Century AKs out there, especially like the Raz-47, which if you watch my Raz-47 video, you will see that I am not a big fan of it either. In fact, I think it's a pile of junk. But this gun, the C39V2 pistol, is actually one of my favorite pistols. It's really accurate. I haven't done anything like the 5,000 round test that Military Arms Channel or Rob Ski over at the AK Operators Union have done, but this is my personal rifle. I'll continue to shoot it, and if we do see any of the strange wear marks on there that could be causing an issue, we'll definitely let you know. Other than that, we did fire a couple of rounds to make sure that the zero was good on the optic, because it's been a while since I had this pistol out. Everything looks good there, so we're going to load it up and send a couple of rounds down range and show you guys what it looks like. Okay, let's walk it down here to the target and see what we did. Okay guys, so the first 4 rounds that we fired to confirm zero actually ended up being these 4 here. I'll pull this one for sure. And then we fired those 5 rounds, and you can see we're well within this ring here. And that's me firing off the knee. So using a SIG Romeo 5 with a 2 MOA dot, that's pretty acceptable at that range. Great optic, by the way. If you're looking for a very well-priced red dot scope, well, red dot, no magnification optic, that's going to do everything that you want it to do and not break the bank. The SIG Romeo 5 is it. I really love this thing. I've been using it a long time. Recommended it to a lot of customers. I don't know anybody that doesn't like it. But back to the pistol. Really good grouping out of this pistol at 30 yards, which to me, this is a close-in weapon. It's not meant to go long distance. Although, because of how well it does shoot at this distance, later in another video, we'll expand upon this when the weather's nicer and stretch it out there to 100 meters. And if we can go to a range that's got some longer distance, we'll try to even shoot it at 2, 3, maybe 4 and 500 meters and see what it does if it's going to hit targets out that distance, which up to 300, yeah, I think it's perfectly capable of hitting targets at that distance, because it is a really accurate rifle. The barrel, or pistol rather, it's got a good barrel on it, and I just love this thing. The weight of it really cuts down on that recoil, so you don't have a big thump to your shoulder, and just everything about it's good so far. But as mentioned before, we'll keep an eye on those wear marks on the trunnion and on the bolt, and see if we start having the issues that Rob Ski and Military Arms Channel experience with the C39V2. Because anytime that is happening, that is a major source of concern. And as they recommended, if you have a Century AK of any type, shape, or form, it would behoove you to spend a little bit of extra money and buy the go, no-go gauges and check your weapon often to make sure that it is safe to use. So there's the Century C39V2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video, and like I said, we'll get this thing back out again and expand upon it and shoot it at longer distances and see what it will really do out there at longer ranges. But close up, man, this thing's a beast. It'd be a terrific home defense weapon. I don't think you could go wrong with it, honestly. But you know, the only concern is the longevity of the weapon over time as you shoot more and more rounds through it. And if you shoot a lot, you may want to consider just spending a little bit extra money and getting something like an Arsenal AK or even a Wazzer 10. But there it is, guys. We'll catch you next time. And as always, check us out on the web at www.mysmokingguns.com. And don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
The spirits light up the night, looking down the edge of forever. So stop me or take my advice.